Well, welcome to the fun and mentals of real estate. We are here to help you build wealth.
Live your dream lifestyle.
And leave legacies that matter. Hey, so we got a question of the day today?
My question to you is, are home prices going up in 2025?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I know they went up in 2024. They went up in 23.
Oh my gosh, are they going to rise again in 2025? We're here with your market update. I'm Angela Dillmon here at Keller Realty Chesterfield, and this is my wealth building partner,
Glen Calvin with Gill Mortgage. And
let's
take a look at what we think is going to happen in 2025. Here we are, early January.
Yeah, let's recap 24 just a little bit. Did home prices actually rise in 24?
Oh, boy, did they.
My gosh,
yes,
they did.
rise and rise
Okay.
again.
All right, so they rose nationally, locally here in St. Louis. On average, they rose about 5%. Again. Okay, so when you're looking at investing in real estate, whether it's your own home that you live in or if it's a investment home,
investment property,
they predict on average that they rise about 4% a year. Because the cost of living doubles every 20 years. Can you believe it? And we just experienced that. Like in the last 5 years, houses appreciated 57.4%. Is that incredible or what?
It's incredible. And really, it's a silver lining because we had to deal with egg prices doubling. We had to deal with higher gas prices. We had to deal with a lot of extra expense.
This is why you cannot save your way to wealth. What's that quote?
My quote is, you can't outrun affordability.
You can't outrun affordability.
No, you can't.
You can't. And so here in Missouri in the last 5 years, you think, okay, well, what about here in St. Louis? How much did we appreciate the last 5 years? 59.8%. I mean, this is incredible. This is why you have to have investments.
So you're telling me that the price of a home that I bought 5 years ago is up almost 60%.
Yeah.
That's
on average.
Wow.
It's really incredible.
Such demand.
You know, in Florida, it's 74%. Is that incredible?
It is. I don't know how we can sustain it, and the answer is it can't be sustained.
Well, that's why they do continue to. Now, here's one thing for about 2025. Whether it's the banking industry or it's people like CoreLogic who just run stats on housing and the economy all the time, or whether it's a Zillow or a Redfin or whoever, whether it's a Keller Williams or it doesn't matter. Everyone agrees in every prediction that home prices are going up. Now, they differ on by how much, and it ranges from 2 to 5%. Well, and there you go. There's your average again of around 4 is coming out. So you do see that it's going to go up.
I think we would all agree with that. From where we're at this point.
Why is this? You just said it's hard to sustain. So why are they can continue to rise when it feels like it just can't sustain? It must fall.
So I know you've done a lot of research in preparation for this, but I know the simple answer is we just don't have enough houses for sale.
We don't have enough houses. Why is that?
That's a great question. Yeah, it really is.
Why don't we have enough houses? It's because of the 2008 downturn. Right. When it went down and went down hard. And
it took all the builders with them.
It took a lot of builders with it.
And a lot of those builders walked away. They didn't get back into it.
And so as a result, you need about 1 million homes a year to keep up with demand.
I've heard we're anywhere from 4 to 4.5 million homes short.
We are at least 4.5 million short. We've been 5 million short right now. The prediction is that we're 4.5 million short. What should have been built over the last 14 years did not get built. Right. And right now, at the rate they're building, they're barely keeping up with current demand. Not to mention, they are not really digging into the short supply from the 14 years of not building at 1 million homes a year. So I'm just saying the downturn really, really hurt. That's one. That's one reason. There's other reasons.
People that are sitting on their low interest rates, they don't want to move.
Oh, yes.
Right?
You might have heard it's called a lock-in effect. It's like, hey, I got a 3%, a 2.5%,
no way I'm leaving
that
rate.
I'm not leaving that rate.
I would be going to 6.5%, 6 3/4, somewhere around there.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Rates can right now even as high as 7 today, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so only life events are pushing people to sell. So a lot more people who would probably consider moving and going ahead and selling their home are sitting on their hands because they have a low rate and they just think, oh, I'm going to end up spending more or paying more, which, by the way, we'll kind of debunk that a little bit here in just a little bit, but this is their thought process. So the market isn't pushing them to move, only life events, which is job transfers, death, divorce, just things like that are moving people. So that's keeping short supply.
Yeah.
What's another one?
Another one would be just it's not affordable for that first-time home buyer to get into the house.
So inflation is kind of keeping people back just a little bit because...
Just inflation in general.
Yeah, because affordability, just the cost of living.
Everything's more expensive.
Everything's more expensive. It's keeping more people sitting on their hands and not putting the home on the market. All right, so there you go. Like, this is why prices are going to rise in 2025, right? And so if they're going to continue to rise, matter of fact, there's a prediction out there from 2024 to 2029, our house prices are going to continue to rise. And right now, the prediction is another 17% over the next 4 years, really, from 24 to 29, it's a 5-year period. They predict a 17% appreciation. So we got to find the opportunities in today's market, right? It's like if 25 is going to look really kind of predicted to look a lot like 24. There are some prediction that inventory is going to go up 9 or 10%. But I got to tell you, here in St. Louis in 24, our single families were actually new listings that came on the market. They were down 1.1% overall for the year. Like, they didn't go anywhere. It was pretty much the same as 23.
That really surprises me.
And that's a 30-year low, by the way. Like, that's low stuff. It's low. And the condo market is kind of similar. It's kind of a tale of two markets here in St. Louis because our single family or condos are very different markets here.
Well, they're both great investments because they provide you your shelter. They provide you a hedge against the rent going up. So to me, the problem is the people that are sitting there waiting. I'm waiting for a recession. I'm waiting for the prices to come down. I'm waiting for the rent to come down. Well, while you're waiting, the world is passing you by quickly.
So you cannot save your way to wealth.
No.
Right? What's the quote?
Warren Buffett says, if your money's not working while you're sleeping, you're going to be working until the day you die.
Oof,
and the best way to get that money working for you is your housing, to own a home.
To invest.
Right.
So whether you own a home, want to move up, there's another stat that's super interesting, is that the cost of the entry-level home is rising 63% faster than your move-up home. Now that's they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do with
you and I have this conversation all the time. Get in the game now.
Get in the game.
Don't be so picky.
You can't save your way there.
Right. Find out. We're seeing a lot more where there is a lot of equity these people have, and I'm seeing a lot more where the parents, the grandparents, in some cases the great-grandparents are helping their children, their grandchildren get a start in the housing market and get them in there. And maybe they're not buying the perfect house, but once they're in the game, because one thing a lot of people don't realize is, yes, it's going up 5% per year, 15% these crazy numbers, but no matter what, on a 30-year loan, you're paying down 1% every year.
Oh, and plus you get the 1% pay down of your loan. Your loan balance is going down.
Right.
And the tax deductions. Now, so here's the deal. On your first-time home buyer, the biggest misconception out there that we see is that you still think you need 20% down, and you don't.
You don't need 20% down.
A call to action here would be, give Glenn a call and explore the first-time home buyer loans.
We do it all the time. We get the application, we screen. There are tons of programs out there.
Just a couple great ones that are out
there's one. The state of Illinois will pay your student loans off up to $40,000. If you're a first-time home buyer in the state of Illinois, that one's incredible.
That's incredible.
I think Madison County has a great program. We have the $3,000. That's now Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that can go to down payment. There's just all kinds of grants, programs, because the first-time home buyer needs help right now. We know it's a math problem, and that affordability is outrageous. And we're starting to see, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, these government-sponsored entities getting involved and helping that market.
Yeah, so let's just say, by the way, like 38% of homeowners do not have a mortgage on their home, and that's another reason that inventory is low, because, again, you're comfortable, right? Yeah. So if you are the one who's thinking about downsizing, which really is resizing, I find that a lot of people need the same square foot, just in different spots, right?
Maybe no stairs.
All right, maybe no stairs. All right, so for the resizer, a lot of times their misconception is I'm going to pay more. It's going to be more expensive. Well, house prices are up, so it's going to be more expensive for me to move.
And I got a low interest rate. It's going to be more expensive for me.
It's just the opposite.
Right, because it's the math.
It's the math.
I've got a $300,000 mortgage at 3%. but I'm going to take out a $100,000 mortgage at 6.75%.
Or I'm going to pay my house off.
Yes,
Most of the resizers either lower their payment or pay the house off when they move.
Mm-hmm.
They lower their taxes. They lower their insurance. They lower their utilities. They get something new. Their lifestyle is better. Oh my gosh, everything is better when you resize or downsize, right? And so, and for the homeowner that's looking to upsize, your opportunity is what you're sitting on in your first home, or maybe even your second, is a hot commodity. You have way more equity in there than you think you do, and there's that money will catapult you to your dream home. And what we're seeing there is that when people upsize, let's just say you have the little ranch and now you want the 4-bedroom, 2-story or whatever it is because your family's growing, that person there's got so much equity, they end up most of the time with at least 20% down on their next
and
home.
now you're in your maximum earning years. You're making more money. Plus, think about it this way. What is the appreciation? And we look at these incredible numbers that we're predicting. Compare that on a $250,000 house to a $500,000 house. Mm-hmm. I mean, the appreciation, the dollars are double.
Yeah.
So
they are.
Yeah. So I think it's a wise strategy to be up there in that higher thing because you're just going to make more money.
Right. So really, get more information. Get your numbers.
Yes.
Right?
Look at the math.
We're happy to help you figure out your home value so you can back into the equity or how much cash is sitting in there and what that scenario actually looks like when you do move. Whether it's your first home, whether you're upsizing, whether you're resizing, do the math and then make a decision. That's really what you should be doing because, and if you've never invested in real estate and you're like, hey,
great opportunity.
I might like keep my first home, rent it out, right? And then move on. And now I've got 2 assets that are appreciating every year. I mean, incredible. You'll look like a genius in 20 years when everything doubles, right?
So you and I both did a lot of research. We have our own guy, David Batney, a wonderful person that kind of helps us with forecasts and predictions. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, I think they're meaningless. And one of the funny things I always tell everybody is whatever I say, probably do the opposite is best. Just because, nobody knows. But I will say, I don't see how home prices are going to come down.
They're not
I
coming
don't
down.
see how interest rates are going to come down. No. Interest rates, we always hear the Fed cut rates, the Fed does this, will the Fed do that? That doesn't necessarily have a direct effect with the bond rates. The mortgage rates are tied differently, and a strong economy, which I think we're looking at, isn't good for lower interest rates.
No, it's not.
Now, I don't see it continue to 8, 9, 10.
Right.
But I don't see that COVID rate of...
There's a few predictions out there that they're going to really fall the last half of the year, but I don't see it. I didn't see it last year. I thought those predictions were...
The greatest thing ever, and a lot of countries don't have this, on the 38-year mortgage, no prepayment penalty. So I say it's a ratchet. So you buy that house, this is where you're at, the rates come down, you refinance it.
You refinance it and you look like a genius, right? Because you got in there. Because what happens if the rates come down, Glenn? If the rates do come down and they're hanging around 6 or maybe even touch a 5, what's going to happen?
Well, it's going to bring a lot of buyers into the market. Yes.
Buyers are going to go like this. Right? And the sellers, even if more sellers enter, it will never be more than how many buyers enter.
Because there's so many buyers.
So do it before you see the next surge when rates do come down, because there will be another home price surge when rates drop.
Yep.
Get ahead of the game. That's what we're saying. Thanks for joining us today.
Awesome.
We're glad you took some time to talk about 2025, and we're here to help. Till next time, have a great day.